Spring hive checks can be the difference between a booming honey season and a whole lot of head scratching later. Welcome to rudeinsect.com.
And spring really is when everything speeds up. The queen ramps up laying, the workers start building numbers fast, and a strong colony can double in size in just a few weeks. That's why this time of year feels a bit like opening day and exam day at the same time.
Yeah, the bees are coming out fired up, the flowers are starting, and suddenly every little problem matters. A warped frame, leftover winter mess, signs of pests, a weak queen. You can't really ignore any of that in spring and hope honey solves it later.
Exactly. Good spring maintenance isn't just about getting more honey, though that's nice. It's really about colony health and survival. If your hive is crowded, damaged, or stressed, the season gets harder for the bees and for you.
So let's talk tools, because this is where beginners either feel confident or feel like they've shown up with a butter knife and optimism.
Which, to be fair, is still a mood. But yes, there are a few tools that make inspections smoother. The hive tool is the one I'd never be without. Bees glue everything together with propolis, and if you try separating boxes or lifting frames barehanded, you'll be inventing new swear words.
I was going to say, the hive tool is the real hero. Flat end for prying things apart, hooked end for lifting frames. Not glamorous, but if you forget it, you'll know immediately.
And clean it regularly. People forget that part. If you move from hive to hive with a dirty tool, you can spread disease. It takes a moment to scrape and sanitize, and it's worth it.
Then there's the smoker, which I think beginners either underuse or turn into a fog machine.
I'm judging the fog machine people a little.
I knew you would.
Use a little smoke, not a bonfire. Natural fuel works well. Pine needles, burlap, that sort of thing. A few gentle puffs at the entrance and over the top bars can calm the bees enough for an inspection. Too much smoke can make them more agitated, not less.
I actually learned that the hard way. Early on, I thought more smoke meant more calm. Turns out, I just made the whole yard smell like a campfire and annoyed everybody, including myself.
That sounds very on brand. Another tool that helps more than people expect is the frame grip. If a frame is heavy with honey or packed with brood, it gives you a secure hold without crushing bees along the edges.
I'll mildly disagree there. I went years without one.
You also carried feed buckets like they were feather pillows. Not everyone wants that challenge. For newer beekeepers especially, a frame grip makes lifting steadier and reduces the chance of dropping a frame or damaging comb.
Fair point. What about the bee brush? I know some folks love them and some just use a gloved hand.
I like a bee brush when it's used gently, slow, soft strokes only. It's for moving bees out of the way during inspection or honey work, not for scrubbing a frame like you're cleaning a grill. If you're rough, you'll stress the colony and probably yourself.
And then there's the queen catcher, which sounds dramatic but can be really handy.
It is handy, especially if you've spotted the queen and need to isolate her briefly for inspection or move her safely. The key is patience. Don't rush, don't squeeze, and don't treat it like a claw machine at the arcade. She's the center of the colony, so careful handling matters.
Spring mistakes usually happen when people get excited and move too fast. Opening hives on cold or windy days, using too much smoke, skipping tool cleaning, crushing bees while pulling frames, those are the ones I see over and over.
I'd add not paying attention to growth. If the colony is expanding quickly, and it often does in spring, they need room and healthy equipment. Damaged frames, signs of disease, pest pressure, deal with those early. The whole season gets easier when you catch problems before the hive is overflowing with bees.
So the big message is, spring maintenance doesn't need fancy gadgets, but it does need the right basics and a steady hand.
Right. Hive tool, smoker, frame grip, bee brush, queen catcher. Simple tools, used well. Less stress on the bees, better inspections, and a stronger chance of heading into honey season with healthy, productive colonies.
And maybe fewer emergency trips back to the shed because you forgot the one tool you actually needed.
Thank you for listening to this edition of RootInsect.com Conversations with Grant and Fiona.